All right, here we go. And we're live. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Kilo Loco. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, so this morning, we are going to be working with multiple decks for the Flashcard app. Now, for anybody that's not familiar, that hasn't been able to tune in the last couple of days, and I wasn't even live yesterday, unfortunately, but essentially what I'm doing is I'm making a flashcard app, or like actually it's more like a homework helping app for my son. He's 5 years old, he's in kindergarten, and he's going through some of these like really basic words, and part of his homework every day is to do flashcards. So what I decided to do was create this flashcard app and have everything digital so that he can actually he would actually be able to do his flashcards on his tablet. So that's the idea. I want to have him be able to do his flashcards on his tablet, and then he would actually be able to, go through each of those more easily. Now, to be honest, I've actually been using the app in the past 2 days. I didn't want to update the app too much because I wanted to do it here live. I want to do everything like live. I want to like make sure like everything's captured. But I did add a couple of decks. Now we had this numbers deck, which is just 1 through 30, and then I had this it's HFW deck, which is high frequency words. These are his high frequency words, and then he has the letters that he has to go through, so like A through Z, and he has to give me the sounds of those. And then this word deck, so these are like his actual words that he needs to learn or like sound out, and we were able to use them, and he freaking loved it. It was actually it was really cool because he like enjoyed it, and I enjoyed watching him enjoy it. So it was a really cool situation, and I had a good time. So I'm just gonna continue doing that and keep working on it here live. So let's keep going. Now, the last thing that I did that was actually part of this app was I created the backend with Amplify, and I seeded some data. And we could actually take a look at that seeding process here, because I'm gonna seed in the other decks as well. So we have this wire deck that comes in. I create that mutation. I create the actual, I send the deck that was created up. I mutate that. I go through 1 through 30, creating a wire card, send that up, and then mutate them. Now I haven't been able to pull that data into the app yet. Everything has been done locally, so it's like all in. Oh, I don't know if you guys could hear that banging in the background. Sorry about that. I decided to do laundry this morning, and unfortunately, my my girlfriend is gonna be suffering from all the banging of that washing machine that's overly loud right now. Anyway, okay, so let's go ahead and start seeding in some of the rest of this data, so that we can actually start pulling it, or we can actually pull in. Because right now I'm only able to display one deck, and we're gonna actually change that during this stream. Let's do amplify console. And that should have me sign in. Go to the studio. Okay. So last time we on, it wasn't yesterday, which was Thursday. So on Wednesday, we left off with being able to see that we were able to seed. We were able to seed one deck and the cards from 1 through 30, the number cards, right? So that's where we left off. Good morning, Golden Life. Wait for this to wake up. And then what I want to do now is I want to go through each of these decks and see those as well. So then let's go to our seed data view, and We already got the number deck, so we don't need to do that anymore. But what I will do, let's create the different types of decks, right? So we have the letter deck, and we'll call that letter deck. We have the high frequency word deck. Deck like that. Name high frequency word deck like that. And then what else do we have? We have the word deck. Now there's a word that there's an acronym that his teacher uses. I think it's like ISP or something like that, LSP, something like that. I could never remember that name. So I'll update that, but yeah, right now we're just gonna call it a word deck. Okay, so now we'll just have decks. Let decks. Oh well, actually, I guess we don't need to do them all at once. I'm gonna seed them individually because I don't want to figure out how to whatever. You know, I guess. I think actually we could do it all in one go. Let's try it out. Let's see if we could be a real programmer and like if we could do it all in one go, huh? This will be an array. Actually, we don't need to do it like that. So we'll do we'll say letter deck result equals try amplify. Let's see, amplify API dot mutate dot create, and then we're going to create our letter deck. Try await. Try await. Got that letter deck. Right. Looking good. Okay. So let's just do this 2 more times, and this will be HFW deck and word deck and HFW deck word deck. All right. So and print letter result deck. We can print the high frequency word deck and the regular word deck. From here, we can loop over the decks that I already created that are stored here locally and create each of those decks. So we have each of those decks that are created, which will also automatically have an ID associated with those decks. So now what we just got to do is we have to do for card in let's do a letter deck dot cards or card in cards, and then we just simply loop over and create. So do the let wire card equals wire card. The value will be the card dot value. Text color will be card dot hex color, and then the wire deck ID will be letter deck dot ID. Is that right? That seems right to me. So we have the value. We have the value of the card that I created, the hex color, and then the letter deck ID. And then we just kind of duplicate this. Oh, well, we need to actually save it first. So let result equals amplify equals try await amplify API dot mutate dot create a wire card, like so. And then we'll just print out the result. Letter deck result, letter card result. And we'll print out the result. Close, but not quite. All right, there we go. And let's go ahead and copy this, because I already wrote all those words and letters and whatever, and I'm not going to do it again. So now we did the letter deck. Next we have to do the high frequency word deck, HFW deck, wire, HFW deck ID, W. There we go. HFW, wire card, yep, that looks good. That looks good. This looks good. Okay, last one is to do the word deck. So this looks good. Word deck. There we go. This looks good. And then word card result. Okay. So now, we'll see how this actually ends up working. I haven't ever tried to do something like this. Loop with a networking request. Let's see what the order of operation actually is. Please leave your Discord link here, Kilo. Yeah, sure. Let me see. Say, I don't think I have the short link. May have to sign in. Give me a sec. Most likely gonna have to sign in to get the Discord link. But I could figure it out fast enough. We can get you going. All right. Gonna drop the Discord link right now. Invite. I don't know why it's hidden here. Kind of weird. But let me drop that link right now. All right, there you go. That is my Discord link. So if you're interested in joining the Discord, where it's for mobile developers in general, not just iOS developers. So there's an area in there for iOS devs, or like for iOS help or Swift help or whatever, Flutter help and Android help. All right, so back to what we were doing. Kind of want to see these orders of operations. So I'm going to just say print and a start letter deck. And we'll just do start HFW deck and then start what is it, the word deck? Yeah. All right, next what we have to do is we have to run this with the seed data as the view. Seed data view, like that. And we can run this on a simulator, that's perfectly fine. That. And we're gonna see what ends up actually happening, if this works or not. While that still loads up, I'm going to minimize this so I could see the code and the logs when I hit this button. All right, let's see what happens. While this seeds, I'm gonna go do my laundry real quick. All right, here we go. Now, yeah, it looked like it did go in order. Word card, right? Yeah. Yep, it looked like it did go in order, which is pretty cool. And it looks like everything was a success. So now, yeah, the order of execution, yeah, that's what I was thinking, but I just wasn't sure because like even though this for loop executed and it has this await, I wasn't sure if this await would cause it to continue down here and execute this for loop. Yeah, I just wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. I had to make sure. I had a feeling, but I wasn't sure, to be honest. All right. See if we could get this to update. If not, then we could take a look at DynamoDB, but for whatever reason, this wasn't loading. But it did look like it worked. Looks like we got success on all the different words. We have all of our data seeded, which is awesome. For whatever reason, this isn't working. So we could just, if we need to, we could look at it in DynamoDB, but I would have preferred to look at it here, but whatever. All right. Now that we have that, for simplicity right now, since it's only going to be working with my son and I still want to be able to, I haven't figured out the entire design of the app yet. let's go ahead and create like different tabs for each of these cards. Or let's see, how do I want to do this? I suppose actually maybe doing a grid. I don't know. I don't know. Let's start with like a list. Let's keep it as simple as possible, right? Start with a list. And I think it's time to start actually using some different files as well. This is starting to get a little bit unruly. All right, so we'll call this Dex view. And this will simply be a list view that will display Dex. So go ahead and do that. So Dex view, class model, observable object, and published. And for right now, I'm going to be displaying data directly from the API, I think. Let me think about that. Let me think about that. Yeah, I think I want to display data directly from the API right now. What's going on, Stance? It's going pretty good, pretty good. Making an app for my kid, so I mean, would life be any better than that? Like, you're making an app for your own child. It's like you decided to learn how to do something that would change, like go on to change your life for the better. You had a kid has made it to the age of 5, is in school, doing pretty all right in school. He's a little bit behind, I'm not gonna lie. I've been working with him every day. Teacher says he has improved faster than any other kid in the class. Still a little bit behind, but he's improved faster than anybody. And I'm making a card for my son, or I'm making an app for my son, and he loves it. So I'd say really pretty dang good, man. I'm doing pretty dang good. I can't complain. Is the family problem is uh no, I'm still going through the divorce. Unfortunately, divorces take forever. So that issue isn't resolved. I actually go over there like every day and have to deal with that interaction, but it is what it is. All right, let's get back to this. So we're going to do cards, and we're going to just be working with the wire cards right now until I could figure out exactly how I want to structure this app to use data, right? Funk, first we're going to get, actually, should we start doing some best practices? Y'all want to see some best practices? Because one of the best practices would be to create a what is this, a API. Been a minute since I've done this. What would you call it? It would be a class that's a networking class. So networking service. We'll create a networking service protocol. Be an API service. API service. I think I want to call it API service. All right. Think about this. wasn't really planning on doing this, but let's try to follow some best practices moving forward. Yeah. API service, right? My API needs to be able to do a lot of different things. Thanks, Stance. Love from India. I got nothing but love for India. I gotta visit India someday for sure. Because I get so much love from India, it's crazy. That's why I'm actually streaming at this time, is because I know that I get love from India like that. Like it's what, like I think it's like what I think when I started the stream it was like 6:30 for y'all, so it's like 7 p.m. for y'all. I was like, I actually calculated that like if I get up at this time and I do a stream, I can do a stream while y'all are having dinner or something like that. Let's just do a func. We'll do get dex. And yeah, I think that it's just as simple as that. Func get dex. Yeah. If we do it like this, and then I'll show you guys how I plan on doing this. So then you could create, how did I like to do this? I want to say that I preferred to use enums, and then I change it later if needed. So we'll do amplify service. Which is of type API service, like this, something like that. Then we have to do get dex, and then this will, let's see, this will return an array of dex, right? And let's just do, damn, problem with the problem with starting to follow best practices is like really you gotta start following best practices. So you have let's just say an array of deck, yeah. And then the deck will have to have, yeah. Let's take a look at this. Hold up. That's an associated type. Yeah, this is all right. I don't want to go too deep. I really want to get the stuff on the screen first. We'll go back and we'll update this, but it's gonna do this. It's going to be an asynchronous function, and it throws as well, I think, because we don't want to work with results. I also can't remember if this is the right order. So what we could do is take a look at where we're seeding the data, check because this is a throwing and asynchronous function. Let's see, async throws. Yeah, which is weird because I swear, I'm pretty sure that you're supposed to do try await. I'm pretty sure. If I were to do this and do it like this, it would say, it would probably say that you need to precede, yeah, say the whole preceding thing, which is really weird because if I do this, it's gonna say that it probably has to precede or whatever, right? See, that doesn't make sense. It's like reversed. What do y'all think about that? Does anybody have an idea on this? You chose good time because it's about 90 minutes. I'll be heading out for karaoke. Oh, sick. Oh, well, it is Friday night, huh? You're going out for karaoke? Order is reversed for try. Yeah, that's so weird. I don't like a lot of the things that they do. All right. So get dex. There we go. We'll return wire dex. Now, usually what you would do is you would return a, well, no, not necessarily usually, but with the way that I've set up my naming convention, you wouldn't use a wire deck to populate your UI. So I would have to go back and change this. But like I said, let's just go ahead and let's get stuff on the screen, and then we'll go from there. All right, so, and I got about 20 minutes left. So what we're going to do is we would import amplify, and then this is a asynchronous throwing function, so I don't have to do task, I don't have to do it would just throw the error. So all I have to do is say let result equals amplify dot API dot query. Query, we're going to do a list query for a model type, which is going to be wire deck dot self, like so. Assuming we still have to throw that trial weight in there. Once we have our result, you'll see that it's a result with a list. A list wire. Oh, let's see. So we'll switch on the result. We'll switch on the result. And we have our two cases. Oh, I wonder if it could populate for me. That'd be cool. Switch result. Can you do it? Xcode's so like inconsistent sometimes. Sometimes you can get it to do like the cool things that they show at WWDC, and a lot of the times you can't. Let list, or let dex, I guess. Case let error. Throw error. And then this one, let's see. Return dex dot. I don't know if you can return dex or not. Let's see if it'll automatically do that conversion. Okay, so I believe that the Amplified team had set it up to where you can actually create an array out of a list. Yeah. Okay. So this is kind of getting closer towards best practices, because you're setting it up in a way to where you have this API service, and then you have another service that's essentially going to do the implementation of the work, and it still follows that same vocabularies getting to me today. Still follows that same name pattern or whatever it is called. Yeah, I can't remember. Anyways, it's still following essentially the protocol as expected, and you still have this method that like does what it's supposed to do, right? So the implementation is just left to the specific concrete class that implements it, or in this case enum. So now what we could do, so we have these wire cards. I would also, I like to keep my published values at the top, and then my initialized values right here. So this would be my API service, right? Which would be of type API service, right? So we want to specify that it is only an API service. Signature, that's the word. Thank you so much, X1011. Signature. Keep in mind, it's like 5:30 in the morning for me, so I appreciate that. Why not send the error in the result type itself? Now you could. Oh, hold on. You have another question. Wait, the amplify query returns a result and throws an error. Yeah. So let's go back and look at that. Because when I saw this, I was kind of confused by it too. Before. Now, the reason why this API, you'll notice it returns this GraphQL task, which is it essentially returns this result, right? It returns a result. It's easier to see what this is, right? It returns a result of the list, or you could think of an array of wire decks, right? And then a GraphQL response error. Now, and this is kind of small, so I know that y'all can't really read it, but the idea here is that first, the API is going to attempt to make a connection with the backend. So is there a is the network available, essentially, is what it's doing for you. It's checking, is the network available? If there is no network, like if I were to put this on airplane mode and then make the query, that's when it would automatically throw the error from this result. Could not reach backend, or could not perform requests, whatever, right? From there, once it establishes the networking error and it's able to successfully perform a transaction, because it's just a query or a mutation and it doesn't really know much after that in terms of like the API making that networking request, it then returns the result. Now the result will say like there was an error, like this would be an error with like if you were going to create your own custom query, because you can create your own custom queries with this API. You can build out, since it's using GraphQL, you could get back only the data that you're interested in, or you could get more complex data back, right? And then it would like return, if you're able to get the data that you're interested in back, it would return it in a success result. But if that query didn't make sense or something broke while doing that GraphQL aspect of this query, it would then have this failure here. So that's why it's two different ones. Little bit weird. Amplify is an extremely opinionated service, and the APIs reflect that. In my opinion, it makes sense. It is a little bit weird, I'll admit that, but like I can see the benefits of having like that 2 layers of errors. So that's kind of why it's structured that way. We already did that. Let's go ahead, and we got our API service, and then we want to initialize this with our amplify service, right? So at this point, what's going on is, oh, that's right. That's why it needs to be a structure. What it was, unless I wanted to make this static, which I don't. Now, another thing that you could do here is you could like initialize it one place and then use it throughout the rest of the app. We're going to do that later, because I think I'm going to actually end up adding in the composable architecture for this app, because I really wanted to play with that. So we'll see. But yeah, this can just simply update. We'll save it. Sometimes Xcode doesn't always save the files immediately and doesn't trickle down. Pretty sure. There we go. Okay. So the reason why I'm doing it this way is because like when during compilation, it will see that this is an API service, and it doesn't necessarily know that Amplify service is going to be the one that's going to be handling the functionality of like the request that we're about to do. And it also makes it so that we know that we're using API service, and then we can go on and we can test things later. Yeah, no problem. P16. Glad I could clear things up, and that makes sense for you. But yeah, here we're using API service. It allows us to add in our functionality, and then we can mock out that functionality and then add tests and things like that, which we'll also do to this app a little bit later down the road. So now, next, what we want to do is get dex like that, right? And then we'll do a task like this. We'll do do catch. Right now, I'm just going to print the error. Hopefully we don't get one. But what we'll do is we'll say let dex equals try await, and then we'll use our API service to get dex. We don't know how we're getting those dex. We don't necessarily know that Amplify service is going to be the one. We don't know that we're getting it from Amplify. So like if I wanted to switch over to a custom backend, if I wanted to use Firebase for this aspect, we can do those things. And that's the benefit. And like data migration aside, you should be setting up your app to work this way, right? Because if you were to switch from a custom backend to something like Amplify, or a different service to another service, from one service to another service, all you have to do is do the implementation on your concrete class, and all the code that touches the UI stays the same. You don't have to do anything. It's a really nice way to work with your data. From here, we are on the main thread, or no, we're on a background thread at this point. So we're going to do, was it main actor.run? And then I suppose I could probably make this entire thing the main actor, but let's just do it like this for right now. And we'll do self.cards. Wait, did I want to get cards? I think I wanted to do dex, right? I think that's what I was interested in. Wire deck. Yeah, dex. There we go. To dex like that. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so from here, go ahead and add a little navigation stack like that. And all right, fine, whatever. Hey. I hate that they've decided to do it like that. Like, I don't know why you would add new APIs to Swift UI and not make them backwards compatible for like iOS 14 should be able to handle everything, in my opinion. Anyways, actually 13, but whatever. Navigation stack. Then we'll just go ahead and put in like a list, and we will also need to have access to our view model. So let's do at state object var view model equal to view model. Also, the other reason why I like to have an extension where I create the view model class because it's just called view model like this and not Dex view model. Terrible name. And I actually prefer to do it like this, and then I rather just do the init. That's just a personal thing. Anyways, from here, the list will go through the decks, which are not identifiable right now, but we could change that. Model.decks. We'll have a deck. And deck in. I'll fix this right here because we haven't created other files to handle all these types of things, but we'll do an extension on wire deck. And then we can make that identifiable because since it's part of a database, it already has an ID. So we just have to specify that it is identifiable, and then this works. Now, a wire deck only has a title on it, so we'll just simply list out each of the titles. So text deck.title, or maybe it's a name. There we go. So now we want to give this a navigation title of decks, and then we'll also run a task to view model dot get decks, and that's actually not, we don't actually have to do that, so we'll do on up here. View model get decks like that. Perform is the keyword. Perform, or not the keyword, the argument. There we go. So now if we go back to our app object, we can make decks view the main view. We run it. And I think this might work. We'll see. Yep, there we go. Those are the 4 decks that we have. So now we are reading data from the backend and we're displaying it in our app, and we can see those here. So that's going to do it for this live stream. I appreciate y'all joining me here. Thanks. I might actually do another live stream tomorrow. I'm not sure. Kind of hard to wake up at this time, but yeah. But thanks for coming, supporting me, especially the love from India that I got. Really appreciate that. But yeah, go out there and keep coding passionately.